Once upon a time, in a distant kingdom nestled between towering mountains and vast, there lived a man named Arik. He was known throughout the land not for his wisdom or valor, but for his madness. From a young age, Arik had been strange. He spoke to the wind as if it's answering him, urged with the stars in the dead of night, and wandered aimlessly through forests as if searching for something only he could sense. His eyes, wide and wide, often stared past the people who tried to speak with him as though he lived in a world beyond their own. In the village of Embridge, where Arik grew up, he was feared and shunned. The villagers whispered that he was cursed, that his madness was a sign of dark omen to come. His family had long since given him up of ever curing him, and he lived on the fringes of society, scavenging for food and shelter wherever he could. Despite this, there was something about Arik that made him different from any other lost soul. He had dreams, vivid, terrifying dreams that seemed more like prophecies than more figments of broken mind. One night, as the full moon cast an eerie glow over the land, Eric stood atop a hill overlooking the village. His eyes were fixed on the sky, his body rigid as he muttered incoherently. Suddenly, he cried out, "The hour is near, the time have come." His voice echoed through the hills, sending chills down the spine of those who heard it. The villagers, terrified, bottled their doors, bolted their doors and the windows, praying for the night to pass without accident. But something strange happened that night. As Eric stood on that hill, a storm unlike any other swept across the land. Their dark cloud swirled above, lightning flashed, and the thunder roared as if the very heaven were tearing apart. The wind howled with a force that shook the trees, and the earth trembled beneath Eric's feet. Yet, amidst the chaos, he remained unmoved, his gaze still fixed on the sky. Any, and then, as quickly as it had come, the storm subsided, leaving an eerie silence in its wake. The next morning, news spread across the kingdom. King Adelric, the powerful and just ruler of the land, had died in the night. His sudden, unexplained death sent the kingdom into turmoil. The royal advisor scrambled to mountain order, but without an heir to the throne, the kingdom seemed doomed to fall into chaos. In the midst of this uncertainty, Eric's name began to be whispered in places far beyond his village. Rumors spread that the madman of Em- Emedric had predicted the storm, that he had seen the king's death coming. Soon, some people claimed he had been chosen by the gods. Others said he had been cursed to bring ruin upon the land. But those who believed that Eric's madness was not madness at all, that it was the mark of destiny. One of those believers was the kingdom's high priest, a man named Elias, who had long studied the ancient prophecies passed down through the generations. Elias had spent years searching for the one who would fulfill a long forgotten prophecy, the prophecy of the Mad King, a ruler who would rise from the shadow of madness to save the kingdom from destruction. When Elias heard the tales of Arik, he knew at once that this was the man foretold in the prophecies. With urgency, he journeyed to Amrid to see out Arik. When he found him, Arik was sitting alone in a clearing, muttering to himself and tracing pattern in the dirt. His hair was wild, his clothes tattered, but his eyes held a strange, otherworldly light. Elias approached cautiously, bowing before Arik as though he were already a king. "You are the one," Elias said softly, "the one destined to rule." Arik looked up, his wide eyes narrowing. "Rule? I am no king. I am nothing." "You are everything," Elias insisted. "The stars, the wind, the storms, they have all spoken of your coming. The throne is yours by right of destiny." For days, Elias remained with Arik, speaking of the prophecy and convincing him of his fate. Arik's madness did not fade, but something within him began to change. His rambling grew more coherent, his vision more focused. He began to see patterns in the chaos, to understand the whispers of the wind that had once driven him mad, and slowly he accepted his destiny. Word spread that the high priest had found the kingdom's new ruler, and soon the royal court sent a delegation to bring Arik to the capital. The nobles were wary of a madman taking the throne, but Elias' influence was strong, and the prophecy carried weight. When Arik arrived at the palace, there was a hush. His wide appearance and erratic mannerisms unsettled many, but there was something undeniable about him, a strange authority, as if the world itself bowed before him. Arik was crowned king in a grand ceremony, though whispers of doubts and fear lingered among the courtiers. His reign, however, would be unlike any before it. Arik did not govern through laws and decrees, but through vision and intuition. He spoke of things no one else could see: the shifting of stars, the whispers of the earth, the secrets of the mind. And yet, his decisions, however strange, always proves right. Under Arik's rule, the kingdom flourished in ways no one could have imagined. He led his people to discover hidden wells of resources, foretold, foretold the movement of enemy armies before they could strike, and predicted disasters before they could unfold. He built alliances with kingdoms that had long been enemies, guided by dreams and visions only he could understand. His subjects, who had once feared him, began to see him as a living God, a man touched by the divine. But even as Aric's reign brought prosperity, his madness never left him. There were nights when he would wander the hall of the palace, speaking to the shadow and calling out to unseen forces. His mind remained a labyrinth full of dark corners and strange corridors that no one could navigate. Yet it was in his madness that his strength lay. As years passed, Arik became known as the Mad King, both revered and feared. His kingdom thrived under his rule, but his mind remained as untattered as ever. Some said he was cursed, others that he had transcended human understanding, but all agreed that he had been chosen by the fates, that his madness was not a flaw, but a gift that had shaped the destiny of the kingdom. In the end, Arik ruled for many years, his reign a testament to the power of destiny. He was a king like no other, mad, brilliant, and unpredictable. And when he finally passed from the world, it was said that the wind themselves swept for him, and the stars dimmed in his honor. The legend of Arik, the Mad King, lived on long after his death, a reminder that sometimes the greatest rulers are not those of sound mind, but those who sees the world through the lens of madness and embrace the destiny that comes with it. I hope you enjoy and love the story. Please don't forget to give the video a thumbs up. Tell me what you think about it in the comment section. Love you guys. Bye.